Good morning. It is actually almost 8 o'clock, so normally I would be at work by now, but if you watched all the way to the end of yesterday's vlog, you'll know that I tried to go to the post office to mail a couple things and wasn't able to. And and one of the things that I need to put in the mail is Wesley's birthday present. So it's really important that like this gets in the mail today and goes out today. Because I'm cutting it close, and I assured him that it would not be late. So, because if I go to work, the nearest post office is actually the nearest post office to my apartment. Like I'd have to almost walk all the way back home to go to the post office. And so I figured, you know what? I'll just wait until they open at 9, and I will just, get up there right at 9, get my stuff mailed, and then I'll head to work. I'm gonna enter some grades and stuff here, so I can do a little bit of work here so I don't feel quite so guilty. But I mean, otherwise, like, I think I've maybe talked about this before on the podcast, but like this time of year is just kind of slow for me anyway, so I'm kind of just not gonna feel bad about not spending as much time at work. I feel like I have definitely built up a sort of a savings account of extra hours worked that I'm now drawing from, which I mean is kind of how academic work goes, right? Like it's very cyclical, right? Like sometimes you work a lot and sometimes you don't work very much, but it all sort of evens out. But the point being, I finished both the heels of my Advent socks. So I'm gonna flip the camera around and show you guys both of my Advent socks up until now. 2 heels. So this heel was day 11, and this is that sort of lime appley green yarn, which actually well matches my sweatshirt. But this is what I had been making my flax light out of before I frogged it, and then I used a little bit of it as a contrasting color on the Villovini. But yeah, so that's day 11, the first heel that I did, and then this is day 12. This was yesterday's yarn, and this is that sort of dusty purple color that I used to make the business casual socks for my older brother, I think earlier this year. So both of these are hand-dyed yarn. This is on an 80/20 superwash merino nylon base, and this is on a 75/25 superwash BFL nylon base. And this is the color for today, which I would have just showed you guys in the intro. This is actually my chocolate peppermint bark yarn, and it's especially appropriate because I finally got the ends woven in on my Christmas socks, and I am wearing them for the very first time today. I know I said forever ago that I was going to do this. Today's the day. So yeah, I will probably put these away and get them, work on them at work. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna get some grades entered and maybe work on my dotted rays and just kill some time until I can go to the post office. So I made it to work, got the packages mailed, and I now have just enough time to slurp down my coffee, before I have to go to a meeting, like a 2-hour meeting, so bleh. But the nice thing is that it's not a meeting where I have to pay a ton of attention, which means lots of knitting time. Unfortunately, I'm at the point in my Advent socks where I'm not going to bring those because like I have to pick up the gusset stitches and stuff, so I'm like, ugh. So I guess I'm going to bring Wesley's laptop case and work on that, which is pretty good too. It's pretty mindless, but just interesting enough to keep me from like falling over asleep in the meeting. So yeah, I will probably check back in with you guys after my super boring meeting. So I'm back from my meeting, and you can probably hear the microwave running in the background because it's now lunchtime. But I thought I would show you guys how much knitting progress I made during that meeting. So, oh, there's the microwave. So I put this stitch marker in where I was when I got to the meeting, and as you can see, I've made it through probably about an entire chart repeat during that meeting, which is not bad considering that this is like 60 some stitches wide, and it's cabling on every single right side row. So I guess maybe that also speaks to how involved I actually had to be during the meeting. All I was there for was basically just to sit and listen for like the couple of times that I needed to give input. But hey, productive knitting day at least, and now it's time for some lunch. It is so cold today. I don't know if I've complained about this yet, but it is so cold. And granted, I think I'm realizing that I must just feel cold way more intensely than other people do, because I was seeing people today walking around outside and like, okay, so the temperature today was like in the low 30s, right? So depending on your scale of temperature, it is actually cold, you know, it's objectively cold. But I saw people today walking around without hats on. I was like, what are you doing? But then again, I do recognize that I have a very high surface area to volume ratio because I am tall and thin, and I lose heat very quickly. But still, I have just been miserable all day because I've been so cold. And now I'm home, as you can tell. So I'm gonna warm up some dinner and actually, you know, get warm. And I just turned the heat up. I wish I have a fancy thermostat that I just haven't installed yet, and I wish I would have, because then I could have done that before I left work, because it's like a fancy thermostat, but whatever, it'll warm up. So I'm gonna eat some dinner, try and get myself warmed up, change into some warmer clothes. I'll check back in with you guys later. In case anyone was curious, this is what my dinner looks like. So this is a bunch of cauliflower over here, and then this is sort of like a beef chili taco meat sort of thing that I made up over the weekend, a big batch of it. And then there's a bunch of cheese on top. And then I have a pack of guacamole. And then I'm gonna put a big ol' plop of sour cream on there. And that's gonna be my dinner, and it's super tasty. And I think I don't remember if I mentioned specifically, but I am trying to clean up the way that I eat, and I'm going back to eating really low carb, because that's always the way that makes me feel the best. So yeah, decently low carb dish, lots of fat in it, and super tasty, so not much to complain about. So my tummy is full of food, and I'm actually having a little bit of dessert now, which looks really gross, but it's not a very appealing color. But this is diet root beer and heavy cream. And for anyone doing low carb and needing sort of like a little bit of a sweet treat, this is totally the thing. It tastes exactly like a root beer float, but without the ice cream. But it's a little bit too good. So this was the last of my heavy creams, so I'm probably not gonna buy any more, because I shouldn't be drinking these as much as I am. But anyway, so I'm gonna sign off. I did want to mention, so this is staring me in the face, right? So this hat the pattern is the Copycat CC beanie, and it was really interesting because I actually saw one of the CC beanies. The CC stands for Colorado Chick, I think, is like the company that makes them, and the pattern is a copycat for it. I actually saw one of those today in real life on campus. I was waiting to cross the street, and I saw a lady who was wearing one, and I was like, I know the shape of that hat. And then I saw that it had like the little like leather tag on it, and I was like, you bought that. You didn't make that, you bought it. But it was kind of one of those like crazy knitter moments. We almost have those, right? Where I also do the thing where I will be, you know, at the store or something, and I'll see some sort of like knit blanket or pillow or something, and I'll be like, I could do that. And Wesley's always like, then why don't you? Because I don't make a lot of houseware stuff. So anyway, I'm going to work on my dotted rays, which is taking up my lap space, keeping my lap warm right now. And probably talk to Wesley and get this edited and call it a night. So thanks very much for watching, and I will see you guys again tomorrow. Bye.